It has always been that you don't just campaign and talk to people come election time. You engage with people from day one.
Welcome to the Digital Public Affairs videocast. I'm your host, Mark Blevis. On this edition, Yasir Naqvi, Liberal candidate and incumbent for the riding of Ottawa Centre in the current provincial election, on the role of digital in his campaign and how he sees digital playing a role in democratic engagement.
My first campaign was 2007. A lot has changed definitely from that campaign to 2014 because 2007, Twitter did not exist. Facebook was there as a medium available. YouTube was just getting there as a common use, which was fairly relevant in 2011 and so is in 2014. What I find in this campaign, there's more and more people on Twitter who are engaging in a conversation. Facebook is not as much of a tool today than Twitter is, and even YouTube I'm finding is people watch stuff, but there's not that big demand for it. Well, the strategy is simple. There's no secret. It's to talk to as many people as possible. And the way I've always done things is that you've got to have a well-rounded communication strategy, which is complemented by, of course, social media. So using Twitter and Facebook and YouTube. But you never use that to replace the face-to-face engagement. That is essential. So when it comes to knocking on doors and being out there and being at community events and talking to people, that's something that I've been doing non-stop since 2007. Of course, it's complemented by having conversations through Twitter as well and other social media. Your BlackBerry and other tools are part of your living now. So but the daily routine is listening, is talking to people, is sharing ideas, listening to their thoughts. I'm out canvassing 2 to 3 polls a day just personally, not to mention various volunteers who are out, and those conversations all about engaging with people. While I'm doing that, am I also checking my BlackBerry every few minutes? No, because I want to be focused. I want to be able to look into somebody's eyes. I want to be able to tell them what I've been doing on their behalf in the community and get their feedback as to what else needs to be done moving forward. I think people just starting to get engaged, that there's an election. I think the way the election happened fairly rapidly. So I'm actually starting to say, well, I'm out canvassing, somebody will tweet, oh, Yasir Naqvi is just down my street campaigning. So we're starting to see people getting engaged, that there is an election happening. There is more and more use of the hashtag onvote so that you can follow some of the conversation. Video has an important role, and we have a strategy to employ all types of social media. Obviously, while I'm as an MPP, I used video for the purposes of community-wide efforts, things like celebrating different holidays. It's, encouraging people to while during Easter or Thanksgiving to go beyond the family, but also think of the broader community. In this campaign, also we're going to be using video, and they will be rolling out. We're going to try some different techniques than the last time. I think part of the reason is that this campaign happened very quickly, so you couldn't do the advanced work to prepare a lot of these things. So we're going to try some few different things to get our message out of video as well.
You've got the QR codes on your signs again. And last time you ran a campaign, we spoke about the QR codes. One of the things we talked about was the fascinating things that they can do for you, and that is you can customize QR codes, for example, to specific polls and have people link through to various other information. How much is analytics and targeting playing in your digital strategy?
Well, I mean, you obviously again follow what people are saying and thinking. In this case, our QR code takes us to yasirnaqvi.ca, which is my main campaign website. Again, we want to provide an easy access to people. I'm finding a lot of youth responding to that because they have the scanner very easily accessible on their smart device, so they think it's pretty cool that you've got a candidate running and they recognize my name, who's using a QR code. So it's interesting to see that dynamic playing into on a sign, which is very traditional way of campaigning, but there's an element that's attracting a totally different demographic because they feel like, oh, I want to check out what is this QR code for. Campaigns are slightly more focused on a goal, which is election day, and making sure that people are out voting, and hopefully they're voting for, in my case, for myself and the values and the representation that I bring forward. But for me, it has always been that you don't just campaign and talk to people come election time. You engage with people from day one. So in my instance, since 2007, almost every weekend I've been knocking on doors. I've been to almost every single door in the riding. I do this throughout the year, winter and summer, so that people have an opportunity to speak with their MPP, to be able to share their concerns, their issues, and that gives me the opportunity to figure out what the issues are, create those partnerships, and then work on those solutions. So when I am at people's door today, they've already met me at least once, if not more than once, at their door and at a community event, and it's an ongoing conversation that we engage in.
How do you connect door to door with the online world, or vice versa?
It's being responsive to people. So I engage with people on Twitter as well. There is a fine line because on Twitter there are, I would characterize as real people and those who maybe pretend to be somebody else. So you always want to engage in meaningful conversation. But for me, face-to-face conversations take priority because that's real. That's meaningful. What I find also Twitter is helpful for is to look at sort of broader community conversations that may be going on that you can learn from. Give you a specific examples. One of the projects that I'm proud to work on is rebuilding of Broadview Public School. That parent community was quite engaged on Twitter. You could see some of their concerns and their efforts and their advocacy through the conversations they were having through Twitter and Facebook, and it allowed me to work with them even closely and find out people who are really engaged, make sure that I'm taking into account their point of views, and the result was that together we were able to secure almost $15 million from the provincial government to rebuild the Broadview Public School.